Hello and welcome to our online chair yoga session today. I will invite you to find a comfortable seat, and if you remember, the key is to push your bottom towards the back of the chair so that you can allow the chair back to support the full weight of your spine. Visualize that you're lining up the back of the head with the back of the tailbone. So that means the top of the head is parallel to the ceiling. The underside of the chin is parallel to the floor. In this position, try to make connection through the soles of the feet, either with the feet directly on the floor, or if you need to use a block or a folded blanket just to raise the feet and allow the weight of the thighs to release, the ankles to soften. Take a moment now to close the eyes, to soften the shoulders away from the ears, to relax the jaw, and to feel the tongue rest in the well of the mouth. Allow all of the muscles of the face to soften and release as you bring your awareness to the breath. You may feel the breath as a cool air at the tip of the nose when you breathe in. You might notice the warm air at the back of the throat as you breathe out. Take your time here to slow the breath down. We're in no rush. Our intention through this deepened, lengthened breath is to fill the lungs completely with every inhale, to empty the lungs fully with each exhale. Allow your breath to become a little noisier. Let this be a guide for you, a recognition, a reminder to soften that space at the base of the throat, to relax and release the shoulders. Feeling your breath expand and widen into the lungs and the rib cage. Then fully soften and release. Direct the breath all the way to the belly. Feel the belly rise on the inhale. Then allow the belly to soften and release on the exhale. Another deep breath in, filling the belly. On this full breath out, feel that you're pulling the tummy button towards the spine. Inhale to widen and expand into the space that surrounds you. Exhaling to engage the core, to strengthen the spine. With every out breath, allowing the shoulders to release, feeling the weight at the back of the hands sink into your thighs, feeling the fingers soft, the palms released. Inhaling deeply to the belly, the chest, then the collarbones. Then exhaling from the collarbones, the chest, and the belly last. It's almost as though you're filling a balloon from the bottom up, emptying that balloon from the top down. One further full, deep breath in. That long, slow breath out. Then slowly start to nudge your breath back towards a more natural, easy rhythm. Just so you don't feel you're forcing the breath. It might be helpful with each exhalation, feeling the weight of your feet against on the floor, the weight of your sit bones sink into the seat, Think of every inhalation as an awakening breath. Returning sensation to fingers, to toes. Wriggle the jaw a little. Wriggle the nose. Now take a moment to blink the eyes open. And we're in no rush here. Just find again that natural, easy rhythm of the breath. Take a moment to turn the head over the right shoulder. Rather than moving the head, let's move the eyes to take in the quality of light in this corner of the room. Look towards the back of the room, using the eyes, not the head. Bring your gaze towards the front of the room. Look all the way up. Look all the way down. Then gently lower the chin onto the shoulder, tracing that collarbone line, drawing the head over to the left side, raising that chin again so the underside of the chin is parallel to the shoulder, releasing the shoulders away from the ears. Again, just taking a moment to notice the quality of light in this corner of the room. Using the eyes rather than the head to take your gaze back over that shoulder, to bring your gaze forward, to look all the way up, and again to look all the way down. Bring your gaze back to face forward, keeping the underside of the chin parallel to the floor as you follow the nose here. On the next out breath, gently nod the chin towards the chest. Let the weight of the head release forward. Exhale, engage the core. Then once more, bring the head back to center. Squeeze the shoulders up towards the ears. Then on an out breath, shrug the shoulders away. Inhale to squeeze the shoulders up. Exhale to shrug the shoulders away. Once more with a little more control as they squeeze the shoulders up. Then roll the shoulders back and down, drawing little circles with the shoulders here, opening into that space through the top of the chest, widening the collarbones, activating that space between the shoulder blades. Let's keep those shoulders released back and down as you squeeze the right shoulder on its own up towards the ear, then release that shoulder down. Let's take the left shoulder up. Then again, we'll release that shoulder down. One more time to squeeze both shoulders up. Then a gentle release as we relieve the shoulders away from the ears, shoulder blades drawn together. Crossing the hands over the chest now as you bring one hand to the opposite shoulder and give yourself a little hug here. Once more, we'll take the gaze comfortably over the right shoulder. Bring the gaze back to center. Then take the gaze over the left shoulder. Bring the gaze back again to center. Then switch that hug over, opposite arm on top, underneath. Taking a moment to allow the head to become heavy again as you nod the chin towards the chest. Lifting the head, realigning the back of the head with the tailbone. Inhaling to lift and lengthen out of the sit bones. Exhaling to engage the core. Then widen the arms. Let's keep the thumbs at shoulder height. Open through the fingers. Press the palms open. Draw the shoulder blades together. Keep that idea of the skull floating above the spine. Then on the next out breath, let's curl the fingers in towards the palms, making fists here, thumbs pointing up towards the ceiling. And exhale to draw the tummy button in, draw the shoulder blades together, and inhale to lift and lengthen out of the seat. Keep your breath steady here. focusing on every out breath to engage the core, to strengthen the muscles of the lower back. Then open the fingers, give the fingers a little wiggle. This feels rather warm through the arms, through the chest, into the belly. Lift the arms overhead. We'll keep the shoulders released back and down, keeping those hands at a Y shape. So rather than bringing the palms together, let's open through the shoulders, engage through the core. Then slide the hands towards one another, bringing the palms together. Our intention here is to lengthen through the fingertips, ironing out that little bend in the elbows, keeping the shoulders down away from the ears. Then as you exhale, bringing the hands back again to heart center, holding this Anjali Mudra, noticing the elbows are up in line with the wrists, the shoulders released back and down, drawing the tummy button in. Remain seated, connected through the sit bones as you isolate the rib cage now. On an inhale, gently lifting. On an exhale, rotating the rib cage so that we start to turn over that right shoulder. Engage the core, inhale back to center. Then as you exhale, let's take that isolation of the rib cage to the opposite side. Coming back once more to center. Then separating the hands, resting the hands either side of the seat. So depending on the seat you have, you might want to take hold of the sides of the seat or gently press into the seat of the chair itself. And if we can, we want to bring that right knee up, placing the hand to the shin, lifting and lengthening out of the sit bones, drawing the shoulders back and down. Don't worry if there isn't room on your seat to bring the foot up. Our next action, if we have the space to do so, is to bring that right ankle on top of the left thigh and just allow gravity to roll the knee out. There's no forcing of the joint here, and just a nice, gentle release. Lovely. Now reposition both hands either side of the hips. Inhale to lift up and lengthen. Let's keep that right hand just touching the side of the chair. As you inhale to lift and lengthen through the left, on an out breath, coming over the midline of the body, turning to look up to that left corner of the room. Inhaling again to come back to center. Now positioning that left hand onto that right knee. A little pressure here as you gently press the knee away rather than pull the knee towards you. Inhale to lift and lengthen. Then as you exhale, another little twist here as you drive the gaze towards the back of the room. On an out breath, release, bringing the gaze forward. Then you can use the hand to help guide the foot back to the floor. Now let's bring the left leg in. So same idea, we start with this half Apanasana, wind relieving pose, drawing the thigh towards the belly, lifting and lengthening out of the sit bones. Then bringing that ankle on top of the thigh, allowing that knee to roll open. And again, it's all gravity, so no forcing that joint. Lifting up and lengthening out of the sit bones. Placing the left hand to the side of the hip, inhaling to lift the right hand. On an exhale, come over the midline of the body, turning the gaze up towards the right corner of the room. Inhaling to come back to center, bringing that hand to the top of the knee. Try to avoid pulling the knee towards you. It's best to keep the palm open as you inhale to lift up. Then exhale to come into the twist on this side. Then as you exhale, release, and we'll bring both feet to the floor. So there's every chance that bringing the leg up, that crossing the leg over wasn't within your range of movement today. So I'm going to repeat that little sequence, keeping the feet flat to the floor this time. So the first action is to take hold of the side of the seat, lift up, rooting down into the sit bones, but keeping the rib cage lifted off the belly as you ease over the midline of the body and turn your gaze up towards the opposite corner of the room. Inhale to lift, come back to center, replace the hand, lift and lengthen again, bringing all the weight of the sit bones to the floor as you ease over. Looking to that opposite side of the room. As you inhale, lift, come back to center. Let's keep that right hand behind the hip, bring the left hand to the top of the right thigh, lift up and lengthen, coming into a gentle twist here. And keeping it really simple, we'll simply take the opposite hand to the opposite thigh, taking that left hand behind the hip now as you come into the twist on this side. Then release and bring that gaze back to face forward. I'll also remind you that just in case we have any limitation with shoulders, with upper arms, the alternative here is to wrap the hands around the elbows. So we keep the elbows nice and low. So we're keeping a nice structure for the shoulders. If we choose to do that sideways lean, we're taking the body weight over, turning the gaze up towards the opposite corner. Inhaling back to center, then taking it to the opposite side. Then once more, facing center. Again, that ribcage isolation as you turn to look over one shoulder. Inhale to look forward. Then turn to look over the other shoulder. Bring your gaze forward once more. Separating the hands now, we'll slide the hands down over the thighs, taking hold of the knees, lifting up and lengthening. Then as you exhale, bring the belly forward. So for comfort, you may wish to take the feet a little wider apart. The intention here is to almost have the belly resting on the thighs. And if you have space to do so, we can take the hands down through the front of the shins, taking hold perhaps of the ankles, drawing the shoulder blades together, exhaling to push that belly towards the thighs. On the next out breath, draw the tummy button in, reposition the hands on the thighs, visualize curling up through the spine. So we're pulling the tummy button towards the spine, curving up, nodding the chin towards the chest, looking at that space between the knees. As you return to that full height, draw the shoulder blades together, then inhale to lift the chest forward, turning your gaze up towards the ceiling. So exhale, that shape is to curve the spine. Inhale, that shape is to lift the chest forward. I'll turn side on so that you can see the shapes quite easily. So the exhale, drawing the tummy button in, curving through the spine, nodding the chin to the chest. Then the inhale, the opposite curve, drawing the hands back over the thighs, opening the chest, lifting the gaze up. Exhaling into the cat stretch. Meow. Inhaling into the cow pose. Moo. I know you love that. Then come back again to that centered position, sit bones connected, shoulder blades drawn together. Lovely. So let's do a little bit of mobilization from the bottom up, since we've started doing from the top down. Start by bringing the right foot up off of the floor. So the left foot remains just relaxed either on the floor or on the block underneath you. The right foot is a few inches off the floor, just enough space so that we can start to draw little circles with the toe. So the idea here is that we are mobilizing the ankle. We'll go through both directions and look at the shape that you make with that big toe. We should be drawing full circles. Now bring that foot parallel to the floor and replace that right foot to the mat. Let that hip flexor relax, let that weight into the sit bone again as you lift up, and we'll do the same mobilization on the left foot. So drawing little circles with the toe, taking those circles both directions, pausing for a moment, then replacing that foot to the floor. Let's just take a moment to pause. Wonderful. So now can we just lift the toes off of the floor, lifting the feet up so the heels are rested on the floor, and then effectively as though we've got windscreen wipers, we're just going to wash the feet from one side to the other. So again, mobilizing the ankles, in control here, little bit of action, lovely. Then replace both feet to the floor. So again, I'm going to keep that left foot connected. This time I'm going to swing that right foot up. So that heel is now in a straight line from the hip, inhaling to point the toe, exhaling to flex, inhaling to point, exhale to flex that toe towards the shin. And you can feel that that lengthens the stretch to the back of the calf. Let's replace that foot to the floor. Lift up through the left leg. So again, that straight line pressing through the heel activates all the muscles through the back of the leg. Inhaling to point, exhaling to flex. Inhale to point, exhale to flex. So as you bring the toe towards the shin, push a little more keenly through the heel, activating that calf stretch. Then once more, replace that foot to the floor. Lovely. Let's lift both feet from the mat, or from the floor, should I say. So we're kind of dangling the feet now, so the weight of the legs is being held by the thighs. And to help make sure that we don't overload the lower back, engage the core so that the core can also be lifting those feet. Let's bring the right foot up, keeping that left foot off the floor. Then switch over to the opposite side. Lovely. So right foot up, left foot up. Keeping that core engagement, making sure that you are fully pushed into the lower, the small of the back to the back of the chair. Lift both feet. Perfect. Keep that breath steady. Then when you're ready, replace the feet towards the floor. Lovely. Let everything sink and relax. Now I'm going to take hold of our strap, so hopefully you have one to hand. And I'm going to pop the strap around the sole of the right foot. So I say around the sole, my preference really when I'm using my strap is to ensure that I'm on the ball of the foot rather than the instep of the foot, so that we've got a little bit more control. So we're going to use the strap to help lift that leg up. Then we're going to bring the ends of the strap together and then walk the hands down the strap. So that tightens the strap and creates a little more lift for you. And you'll feel that you get a deeper stretch to the back of that muscle at the back of the thigh, which is called the hamstring. Lovely. Now walk back down the strap again, slacken off the knee and let that foot come fully to the floor. Lovely. Separate the ends of your strap now. Make sure the left foot is fully on the mat. If it's more comfortable to go wide with the feet, then please do so. Try to think about, again, your upper body connection here. So avoid rolling forward. Try to keep the back of the head lined up with the tailbone. My preference is to draw the elbows into the side of the rib cage, so I can almost feel the elbows at the side of the waist. Engage the core, then curl up, then release down. Curling up, then releasing down. Let's do 4 more of these. You can feel that's working on those bicep muscles. So the key is to ensure that you keep the elbows drawn in, that the action is between the shoulder and the elbow. i.e. the big muscle in the upper arm. You know that I didn't count 4. Then replace. Lovely. Now soften down, and we'll do the same on the other side. So bringing that to the opposite foot, elbows drawn in, and again we'll repeat those curls. 4, 3, 2, and 1. And we'll give the biceps a little break as we go back to that hamstring stretch. So lifting the foot, using the strap to help you lift that leg, then walking down the length of the strap, drawing the thigh a little closer, deepening the stretch to the back of the leg. It's a really tricky place to get a stretch, so we're doing a good job here. Then walk again along the strap, keeping hold of the ends of the strap, replacing that foot to the floor. And I haven't forgotten that you do 4 more of these. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good work, very good work. Now release that strap. Perfect. And we'll bring the strap to chest height. So we're going to do an action here that will work for everyone on chest level. I'm then going to take the action overhead. That won't be comfortable for those of you who have any issues with shoulders or upper arms. So I'll show you the chest level action first. So we're slightly lower than shoulders. I'm just a little bit above belly. I think this camera angle is a little bit confusing. And we're effectively going to draw the strap wide, then pull the strap together. So there's also a little bit of resistance on the way in. So rather than letting it ping back in, we want that same level of control. So exhale, engage the core, widen the arms, then slowly control that release together. This is a good time to remind you, always test your strap before you work on it. If they get a little bit dry and brittle, they have got a habit of snapping. So do be mindful before you use your strap that it's got full elasticity. Yours are all very new, so they should be good for a while. But just check. If you've been keeping them in an airing cupboard, they may have dried out. Beautiful. So the next action is one where you won't be able to do this as easily if you have issues with shoulders or with upper arms. What I'll remind you is if it's only on one side, you're probably better working with the side that you can use and effectively just leaving out the opposite side. Modifying around it can often lead to its own problems. So do what you can do on the one side that you can do it. So I'm going to start with the right side. So the strap effectively goes behind the back of the head, and we take hold of that strap. I'm a big fan of keeping the fist into the lower back so that we've got that little bit of control. It also helps to open out that space through the side of the chest. Then we can use the top arm. Try not to pull your hair on this one, it can be very uncomfortable. We'll use the top arm to push the arm straight, then to release the arm back. Now, please notice that the action is the bent elbow. So the elbow is straightening, then bending again. If we don't get that level of bend in the elbow, it means that we're not activating the correct muscle group. My intention here is to work on the triceps, otherwise known as the bingo wings. So knock yourself out and do the side that's most accessible for you. For those of us who have got mobility on both sides, let's try it on the other side. So again, I really like the fist in the small of the back. Then we'll take that top arm, getting in a right angle here with my strap. I'm trying to keep it out of the way. So remember, we start with the elbow full on bent, then straighten and release. Straighten and release. Lovely. Let's do 4 more of these. 4, 3. And again, notice the control rather than letting the strap pull you together. You're controlling it back and down. Lovely. Perfect. Okay, separate the hands, let the arms rest. You'll probably want to rest the arms. And then we'll just pop that strap on the seat. We might come back to it again, we might not. And if you are happy to do so, let's bring ourselves to standing. So remember that when we come to standing, you always have the option of using the back of the chair for a little bit of support, for a little bit of balance. If we prefer, we can bring the front of the chair to face, and that gives us a little bit more space for the next posture we're going to do, which will be a forward fold. So I'll remind you that in our forward fold, we always take the feet a little bit wider than hip width apart. So aim for shoulder width minimum, a little bit further if you have the confidence to do so. Try to keep a little slack in the knees. And your intention here is to always keep that plumb line from the back of the head to the tailbone. So when we come to fold forward, rather than letting the head become heavy and curving the spine, we're always gently lifted, so we're leading from the sternum. So I'd like to keep my chair just within reach. My first action is to gently bring the palms onto the front of the chair. And without using the feet, I'm going to try to walk my hands along the seat of the chair, keeping my feet rooted where they are. And as I reach towards the back of the chair, pushing the sit bones towards the back of the room. So we're lengthening into that space at the back of the hamstrings, into the inner thighs, lining up the ears between the upper arms, and just nicely coming into a deeper fold here. Keep that little bit of slack behind the knees. And I will remind you, particularly if you have low blood pressure, this effectively is like turning upside down. So we always take our time to come back up to standing. My suggestion is that you keep looking down at the floor while we walk the hands back along the seat. Keep a nice soft elbow, nice soft knees. Then reposition the hands onto the thighs. Keep looking down at the floor. And then lift the chest up, lift the shoulders up. Keep looking down at the floor. So we're straightening the upper body up. And then at the last moment, you can lift your gaze forward. And for good measure, we'll step the feet together again so that we don't go dizzy. Lovely. It's easy for me because I've got a twirly chair. I decided that'll work well today. So if you need to, turn your chair around. And again, we'll just have that fingertip distance away. We'll start with the heels this time a little closer together. So if we come with the insides of the feet parallel so that we're doing mountain pose, then push the heels apart, bring the insides of the feet parallel. We'll feel that the heels are directly underneath the hips and the shoulders, so this gives us stability through the whole body. I'm just using the fingertips touching the back of the chair for a little bit of balance. I'm going to keep the left knee a little soft as I take the right foot back. And I want to remember that when I place that back foot on the floor, I want to take it a tiny bit wider than the hips so that I allow for balance here. We're starting on the ball of the back foot, then slowly squeezing that heel towards the floor, just glancing down and making sure the inside of the foot is parallel. And in the same way as we did before, we're going to keep the feet where they are, but we're pushing the hips back. So this will allow us a little bit of space through the side of the body. The hands might slide down the chair to accommodate this. Pushing the sit bones to the back of the room, pulling that front hip back. Perfect. Then coming into a little bend on that front knee. So notice how that front knee is somewhere just above the ankle joint. If you're happy to do so, bring your hands away from the chair. Keep looking down towards the floor, not all the way down, but somewhere towards the end of the room. Engage the core. Then slowly lift the gaze as you lift your chest. Sinking the sit bones down, relaxing the shoulders back. finding that balance, that focus. Then inhaling to lift the arms up overhead. If that feels uncomfortable in the chest, in the shoulders, then by all means take the arms wide. Or again, if we want to look after shoulders and upper arms, bring the hands forward. Nice for balance, nice and secure. Then replace the hands either side of the hips, engage the core, and step the feet together. Now again, fingertips on the chair, taking the opposite foot back. So I often refer to this posture as tram lines. So that means that when we sink that back heel down, the insides of the feet remain parallel. I've started with a little soft bend on the front knee. I want to now iron that bend out, push the sit bones towards the back of the room. And again, we're allowing that space for the hips by sliding the hands down, the back of the chair, extending, pushing the sit bones back. Lovely. This will help to balance out. And again, it's sticking with that back of the thigh stretch that we love so much. Okay, maybe we don't all love it. I love it. Then again, I'll give you that invitation if you're happy to let your hands come away from the chair, to bend that front knee, to lift up, and to come into that warrior one pose. If that's too much for you, remember you can always just touch the hands again to the chair. If you feel strong in this posture, you want to get the blood pumping, you can bring the arms up overhead. If that's not within your range of movement, you can bring the arms forward and just keep those shoulders nice and quiet. Then again, replace the hands either side of the hips, engage the core, and step the feet together. So when we bring the feet back together, try if you can to slide back into that mountain pose, so the insides of the feet parallel. Again, I'm going to keep my fingertips just touching the back of the chair, so I've got that security. Coming into our awkward chair pose. So awkward chair pose is a strengthening posture for the thighs. Engage the core, slide the sit bones back. You may think of this as a squat pose. What I'll ask you to notice is that the knees don't travel forward over the toes, that the intention is to slide the sit bones back and ultimately try to bring the thighs parallel to the floor. You can keep hold of your chair for security here, particularly if you're feeling lightheaded. If you feel strong and secure, you can bring your hands to an Anjali Mudra, shoulder blades drawn together. Now we're focusing on the quality of the breath here. So we're back to that idea of the inhale being cooling, energizing. The exhale pushing away any tension, any negative energy. So deep breath in through the nose, full breath out through the mouth. A further deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. I recognize that everything's starting to fire now. It's feeling very tense. If you can, lift the right heel up, then replace that foot to the floor, then lift the left heel up. I promise it's nearly over. Push that left heel to the floor. Let's make sure we're fully connected. And again, rather than snapping the head up too quickly, just keep your gaze gently towards the floor. Exhale, draw the tummy button in. Inhale, lift up. Then when you're ready, lift your gaze forward. Perfect. Either extend the arms forward for anyone who has issues with shoulders. If you can, lift the arms overhead. Again, nice and soft in the knees, wrapping the hands around the elbows, hinging forward, trying not to headbutt your chair, bringing the belly to the thighs, tucking the chin under, and almost hanging here in a ragdoll position. Gently swaying from one side to the other, releasing any tension here. Then bringing the hands back onto the thighs. Keep looking down at the toes, exhaling, drawing the tummy button in, rolling up through the spine. Keep looking down at the toes. Keep looking down as you roll the shoulders back. Then when you feel confident to do so, lift your gaze forward. Lovely. Be careful that we don't fall into bad habits of allowing the hips to press forward. So let's come back to that lovely mountain pose. Thighs are back, tailbone tucked under, core engaged. Bringing the hands to an interlock behind the lower back, softening the shoulders away from the ears. Then as you exhale, lift the arms up and away, opening through the chest. Then releasing the hands back to the lower back, separating the arms, squeezing the shoulders up towards the ears, then a big shrug to release the shoulders down. I'll invite you one more time to come onto your chair and to again make yourself comfortable. So if you need a little block under the feet for support, then do so. The other benefit of being on this twirly chair is I can lower it towards the floor. So again, make sure that you are sat fully back in the chair. So you're allowing that little support in the lower back to be fully held by that chair support. Soften the shoulders again away from the ears. And let's once more turn the palms up towards the ceiling in a gesture of receptivity. If your wrists don't allow for that shape, then simply relax the fingers, relax the elbows, and keep the shoulders heavy and released. So sometimes in this posture, there can be a temptation to lean forward. So think about that lovely support at the back of the chair. Keep leaning back. Let the shoulders go. Again, the weight of the skull floating above the spine. As you once more close the eyes. Now rest the tongue in the well of the mouth. Soften all the muscles of the face. Bring your awareness again to the breath. And as you slow the breath down, take a moment to scan the body from head to toe. Acknowledge any part of the body where you know that pain or limitation manifests for you. Honour those parts of the body. Visualize sending the breath to those parts of the body where you perhaps hold tension or stress. And imagine that each in-breath is sending positive energy, love and light to that part of the body that needs it most. With every out-breath, let that tension go. Spend as much time as you need honouring the parts of the body that may be asking for a little extra attention. Recognising that every out-breath is a release, a letting go. Maintain your awareness on the breath. Inhaling deeply. Exhaling fully. Now allow your awareness to travel through the full length of your body, resting now at the soles of your feet. Relax the right foot. Relax the left foot. Feel both feet fully released and relaxed. Relax the ankles, the calves and the shins. Soften any tension here in the ankles, the calves and the shins. Release the knees. Feel the weight of your thighs spread into the chair seat, softening the backs of the thighs, feeling the inner thighs roll outward, the tops of the thighs soft, yielding. The weight of your hands simply rested here. Relax the fingers of the right hand, the fingers of the left hand. Soften the wrists, the forearms, and the elbows. Feel the upper arms become heavy as you release and relax in and around the right shoulder. Softening and releasing in and around the left shoulder. Aware of that lengthened, strengthened spine. Every inhale, finding space through the lungs and the ribcage. Every exhale, a softening release. Check in again that the jaw is relaxed, the tongue resting in the well of the mouth, the temples soft. Relax the right eyebrow. Relax the left eyebrow. Once more, allow all the muscles of the face to fully soften and release. No need to concentrate. Turn that frown upside down. And simply tune into a rare few moments of quiet and calm here. Anytime your attention wanders, return your focus to the breath. Inhaling deeply, exhaling fully. Simply take your time here. Allow each breath to become a little noisier. Releasing this next breath with an audible sigh. Now become aware again of your space within this room. Feel your connection again through the soles of the feet, through the sit bones and the backs of the thighs. Feel the weight of your hands on your legs. Notice the texture of your clothing against your skin, the cool air in the room against your face, your hands and your feet. As you gradually return sensation here. Wiggling fingers, wiggling toes. Wriggle the jaw a little and wriggle the nose. As always, there's no rush here. So take your time Make sure that you feel fully connected, fully grounded and back in the room. As you blink your eyes open, bring your hands to an Anjali Mudra. Touch to the head for kind thoughts, to the lips for kind words, and to the heart for kind intentions. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste. Thank you very much, everyone. I hope you've enjoyed following along at home, and I look forward to seeing you soon.